Please go.
Yeah, now, yes.
Ma, I have 20 attendees. Can you look out as well?
Sure.
Drishti, TTS sir will be joining in some time.
Shrikant, I'd sent you a text message. I don't know if you got it.
Oh, let me check. Not yet.
Huh. Try sending one to me because I feel like I'm having some trouble sending to you.
Okay, I'll send it on Messenger. Just
Okay.
Drishti, KTR sir has also joined in.
have they joined it?
Swati, let us use back channel for the PMU group, okay?
Yeah, I'm just
Just to use back channel.
sure.
Good morning, Mayur and everybody.
Good morning, Wahid sir.
Good morning.
We can start.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome everybody. It's wonderful to be here. My name is Shrikant Nadamuni. I'd like to welcome everybody to the launch of the 10-bed ICU program. Firstly, let me start by welcoming the Honorable Minister of IT, Municipal Administration, Urban Development, Industries and Commerce, Shri K.T. Ramarao. Welcome, sir. Thank you for gracing the event. Welcome to the founder partner at Khosla Ventures, joining in from Menlo Park, California, Shri Vinod Khosla. Thank you, sir, for joining us. The Principal Secretary, Industries, Commerce, and IT, Shri Jayesh Manjanji. Thank you, sir, for joining. The Commissioner of Police at Rachakunda, Shri Mahesh Bhagavat. Thank you for joining us. The Secretary and Commissioner, Women, Child, Disabled and Senior Citizens, Devarajan. Thank you for joining us. All the district collectors and DHMOs of the participating districts. I see many of you have already joined in. Thank you for coming and welcome. The donors from India and US, many of them from the US. It's probably pretty late for many of you in Texas and New York and so on. Thank you for staying awake and joining us today. And finally, to the 10-bed ICU team, a coalition of NGOs and other participating companies who have worked on this. Thank you. And finally, a warm welcome to all our guests who have joined in today. Let me quickly start with sharing with you all the program that has come so far just in a matter of 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. I will just share my screen here. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I can see, sir.
Wonderful. So very quickly, we're all aware of the second COVID wave that has devastated India, especially the cities. The second wave contributed to 16 million cases just in the last 2 months, April and May. And you can see it was 4 times as severe as the first wave. But, you know, hitherto, it was considered as the urban phenomenon, but the second wave has surged in several rural districts as well, especially in UP and other places. We are hearing about how the numbers are going up. And unfortunately, the rural areas are ill prepared to handle this kind of a surge. So many of us were very concerned, and we sort of looked at 4 key challenges in our rural areas. First is the absence of ICU beds in area hospitals, sometimes even in district hospitals in new districts. An acute shortage of medical staff, such as intensivists, pulmonologists, and so on. Even the existing medical staff need to be trained on COVID protocols as things are changing dynamically. And finally, we needed, there's a sort of ad hoc disaster response in many rural areas across the country. We need a more systemic approach. So we basically came up with some thoughts and ideas around how to help in this situation. First was this idea of creating a 10-bed ICU in every rural district of the country. And I'll tell you a little bit of how we came to, but moving forward, the second thing is to deal with acute shortage of medical staff. We came up with a program of Doctor Connect, basically using telemedicine in order to help get specialist doctors like intensivists and pulmonologists and anesthesiologists from India, from the cities, from US and UK, many Indian doctors, from Telangana. We have talked to, they would love to come and help us. We'll talk a little bit more about it. So that's the Doctor Connect program. The third thing is the training module to teach COVID protocols and the ever-changing scenario. That is the third module. And lastly, of course, a robust technology platform for pandemic management. So very quickly, I'll share with you what the program has come up with in conjunction with the Telangana senior officers. So the 10-bed ICU setup itself, I have to say here, the district collector of Narayanpet, Srimati Harichandana Garu, had already worked out many of these plans, and she wanted to launch ICU beds in her own district hospital. And so we, in fact, built on top of her plans. I'd like to share that with you. So this is a full-fledged ICU unit, not just with ICU beds, but ventilators, both hybrid ventilators, both invasive and non-invasive type, oxygen concentrators, which had become the big thing about 5 weeks ago, oxygen cylinders, 25 oxygen cylinders for every 10-bed ICU, infusion pumps, the multi-channel monitor. This is the entire equipment set we are providing to these hospitals. And I'd like to also say that these are premium equipment by good premium vendors being procured by our NGO Nirman. We are going through multiple vendors. We are picking the best quality for these hospitals. And moving forward, the Doctor Connect program, this is where we heard from your government officials as well as in many other states that we have a shortage. Even if you gave us a 10-bed ICU infrastructure, we don't have the necessary specialists in rural areas to help our severe patients. So we've reached out, especially in the US and UK and also in India. The response has been phenomenal. There are innumerable doctors, especially Telugu-speaking doctors who we need for Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and they are ready to come forward and help us. We have talked to API, the American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, as well as BAPI in Britain, and we are working with several groups. Very good progress. They are all ready to come and help us. There is an outpouring of support from especially the Telugu doctor community in the US, and we are able to bring this to our 10-bed ICUs. The next, of course, is the training module. Here, while we have put up some very good content from Johns Hopkins and Harvard, as well as Vellore and other good institutions, what I'd like to say is it is not enough. The MOOCs experience has taught us that just by putting out good material is not enough, and ask doctors and nurses to empower themselves. So we are going to conduct live training, of course, with good curated material like what we are showing you, pause, discuss issues, case-based training, as well as actual discussion among the various doctors and nurses, because this is a very dynamic pandemic. It's not as though anybody knows all the right things to do. So this, again, we are working with Swasth Alliance, and they're going to help us. There's a good team at Harvard as well, which is working with Swasth Alliance on India-specific protocols and India-specific training. And lastly, the pandemic management technology platform developed by this team in Kerala, Corona Safe, has done a very successful implementation in Ernakulam. And it has everything from real-time monitoring of ICUs, ventilators, oxygen, which had become such a huge issue in India, not able to get the right amount of oxygen to the right hospitals, to visualizations of capacity. You will know exactly where the ICU beds are and which ones are empty, which ones are filled up across the state in the various districts. All this is currently running. And we have done demonstrations to the IT team, to the command and control team, and so on. The integrated telemedicine platform is part of Corona Safe, and it will help us connect the Doctor Connect program, both on the clinical PHR, the patient health record, as well as on a video interface. Something very simple, so that our doctors can actually use it. It is as simple as one doctor, maybe in the US or UK or in one of the cities in India, connected or attached to a hospital so that they work with the local doctor and nurse and help the 10 patients that we have in their 10 beds. The foreign specialists are not going to prescribe. Obviously, they're not going to do any procedures. It is the local doctor. This is a tele-advice. The local doctor will do the prescription and the procedures and the various things for our patients. And lastly, dashboards at a state level showing exactly case loads, showing all the details of oxygen, beds, people, equipment. All of this is a consolidated dashboard, which can actually give you a very good idea for good decision making at the state level. And of course, this is completely free and open source. There is no proprietariness about this. Even without our team, you can take this forward and use it. With that, let me talk a little bit about the structuring of this private-public partnership. This has been only about 4.5 weeks old. But I have to say, from day one, Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, Sri Mahesh Babaji, Srimati Divya Devarajan, and others have been involved in actualizing this entire program. Nagesh, Gauravaram is here, Bharani, and everybody. And we came up with some very simple structuring for success of this PPP. The 10-bed ICU will provide the ICU equipment, the technology platform, doctor connect, and training. So we are providing the capital expenditure, procuring the equipment, and handing it over to the various hospitals. The government will in turn supply us a building, medical staff, and ongoing, they will take care of the operations and maintenance of this. So, a very simple way to look at it from a financial point of view, CapEx is managed by the 10-bed ICU team, and the operational expenses and running of the system is managed by the government at a high level. This is what the overall team here came up with. And the PMU will oversee the proper implementation and support. At this juncture, I would like to invite Sri Jayesh Ranjan ji to share with us, because you were there from inception, some ideas about this program as well as thoughts for how to make it successful.
Srikanth, looks like Jayesh is in a meeting. I think
Mahesh ji, you were also there from the day one. Can you share your thoughts and ideas about how to make our program successful?
Good morning. I'm audible, Srikanth ji?
Yes, yes.
Okay. First of all, I'm grateful to Khosla Foundation for coming forward. Honorable Minister for MAUD, KTR Garu, Khosla Foundation, Chief Vinod Khosla ji, and then the man who has spearheaded this entire project, Srikanth Manduni, then Nagesh, Raj Pakala, then our collector of Narayanpet, Harichandana, then Bharani Garu, and all the team members. I think in 1 month, a lot of work has been done. And we can see today now that in 38 area hospitals in Telangana, today we will be having this 10-bed ICUs, plus I think 29 in Andhra Pradesh. And recently we had a talk with Maharashtra also. So Maharashtra is since my native state. So there also this project is being taken now, 34 districts. So it's going on really well. Actually, in my, I still remember that in my childhood, my mother used to recite in the evening, Shubham Karoti Kalyanam, Arogyam Dhana Sampada, that health is wealth. That now everyone has been realized because of this pandemic. And especially we are facing the problem now in rural areas because of sometimes the infrastructure, especially everyone, when the recent wave was at its peak, everyone was asking for the oxygen bed, and because of that shortage, now then people started searching for ICU beds. Then it was made online and made available. But now we can see now slowly cases are getting declined. So that same demand may not be there today. But it's always been said that sweat more in the peace, less you have to bleed in the war. So we have to prepare now for the third wave also. I think this is the right step taken by all the like-minded people who have come together, have donated amount for around $40,000 for one unit, and it will go a long way. This project of a 10-bed ICU definitely will be a game changer in a rural health scenario. We always talk about decentralization of health services, and in that decentralization, I think this health service making available at the district headquarters, especially the rural districts where infrastructure as such in the government hospital may not be up that level, but the doctors are available, or the district collectors are having power to take doctors on the contract basis. So there, this 10-bed ICU project will be definitely helping, at least in the third wave and the end of the second wave. So once again, I congratulate all the partners who have joined hand and to make this project successful. My best wishes to everyone, and I will be there. Since beginning I joined, I will be there till this project is taken to the logical conclusion. Thank you, and good day to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahesh ji. So to move on to the next item, the most important aspect is our donors who have come forward to fund this entire project. I would like to take a moment, take you through the donors. And while we are doing that, I'd like to stop and tell you a little bit about the district collector of Adilabad, Srimati Sikta Patnaik. She was on maternity leave, but she continued to engage with our team, the 10-bed ICU team. Nagesh was making calls and he was talking to her. She was talking to us from, all through the maternity leave. And so we thank you, Srimati Patnaik, for your support for our project. There were lots of donors that do meetings every morning, early morning with the US donors. Like for instance, here, Nanda and Susan Vora of Sugarland, Texas, near Houston, they were very keen to fund Bhopalampalli. They are from that place. And not only did Nanda and Susan fund this, but they also helped us in the Doctor Connect program. So thank you, Nanda. Thank you. I want to stop for a moment to recognize HICIA. Bharani Arawal, president, runs HICIA. They were able to fund 5 of our hospitals. Okay, and so we thank you. They brought in many companies from the Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association. So not just commodity, but you will see many hospitals were funded with the help of HICIA. I would like to thank United Way of Hyderabad, Rekha Srinivasan. Thank you so much. They funded 3 hospitals. You are a big institution in the United States, and I see you making inroads in Hyderabad and India as well. Thank you so much for your help. The Salesforce.com. Entrepreneur, P. Varaprasad Rao, he hails from Mancherial, and he went about meeting the Forest Contractors Association, the Pipe Manufacturers Association, and a number of people to raise the 30 lakhs needed for the ICU beds in Mancherial. He met with the district collector. He showed such interest in getting people of Mancherial to fund this. So thank you very much, sir, for your efforts. Well, I'm having a bit of a trouble, but let me just speak. I know it is Vinod Khosla out there, and there is the Narayanpet district. Let me just say, as soon as the oxygen problem erupted in Delhi, Vinod tweeted out there saying, I'm ready to finance hospitals that need oxygen right now. And there were thousands of people who contacted us. There were 20,000 retweets of his message. And in some sense, this project got started with all that energy that got created. I got connected to Nagesh and Raj Patala because of these tweets, and friends started connecting people to solve the problem. And I would say Vinod has donated, I don't know, about probably about $20 million already for the various causes. And he continues to make significant contributions. And he funded 4 district hospitals here in Telangana. He also funded the PMU operations here in Telangana. Thank you, Mr. Khosla. By the way, just to remind you that Narayanpet, we are going to launch there shortly. So stay tuned. We are going to go to Narayanpet in a little bit. Again, there was very innovative, kind of funding. For instance, Vox AI, Sunil Rudraraju, he basically collected 1 day's salary from his employees in the US and India, and then he matched it with his own personal funds, and he funded Rajanna Silsila. So we thank you, Vox AI.
That is Vemulavada Hospital.
As we all know, PepsiCo, they were very keen to fund in Rangareddy district. They again had a matching donation program. Their employees volunteering in kind was matched in cash by PepsiCo to our project. So this was again an innovative method. So as you see, the donors came in with many different ideas to fund the project. Okay, and I would like to say that, and here again, a moment, the district collector of Sangareddy, Shri Anumant Rao, he was COVID positive. Okay, he was in his hospital bed while the program was actively trying to gather information. He continued to talk to us from his hospital bed and engage with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. By the way, EO as well. I did not talk about EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization here in Telangana. They've done a fantastic job. They have funded, I think, about 3 hospitals for us through their various startups. Okay, when I read the citation, this citation, it gave me the goosebumps. Basically, you might have heard, of course, you'll know of Colonel P. Santosh Babu, who hails from Suryapet, who fell during the Galwan skirmishes with China last June 16th to be precise. His gallantry that day earned him the Mahavir Chakra posthumously. A bunch of friends, Raj Pakala, Srinivas Kasarneni, and a bunch of friends from India and US, they decided to collect money to raise an ICU bed in the honor of P. Santosh Babu. And we thank you for this really heartwarming gesture. By the way, Srimati Anita Ramachandran was also there with us from day one. And in fact, this is also a pilot we are taking up right away, immediately after Narayanpet, and it was funded by Vinod Khosla.
Srikanth sir, the video is coming a little blurred.
So there are a few more hospitals we need funding. We have about 5 more hospitals. 5 or 6 writing out we need just a few more to cover the entire state. With that, let me move over to the next part of the program. Very quickly, I want to introduce the 10-bed ICU team. If I can just share the PowerPoint presentation. Is the video better now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. Firstly, thanks to Vinod's tweets, I got connected to Raj Pakala and Nagesh Gauravaram. And in fact, we had a small meeting. In fact, we met for something else. We were meeting for getting oxygen concentrators. And then soon we were talking about rural issues. and we talked about rural Telangana. And the very next thing is very next meeting, we had senior officers, Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, Mahesh Bhagwatji, and others. And that was the beginning of the program. But I'd like to say we have put together this program very, very quickly as a partnership of NGOs. I'd like to introduce Dr. H. Sudarshan, who runs the Karna Trust in Karnataka in the Chamarajanagar district. He's a Padma Shri Award winner of the Magsaysay Award as well. He has in fact transformed the lives of the Soliga tribes working in the hills for about the last 40 years. He runs Karna Trust and VGKK. Of course, our very own Mayur Patnala Nirman has been the backbone of the work here in Telangana, and I'm sure they will be so in many of the other states. We take it up as well. I will talk a little bit more about Nirman in a minute. The e-governance foundation that Nandan Nilekani and I started in 2003 on municipal governance. We have the CEO of e-governance foundation, Viraj Tyagi. He is one of our partners who's looking at government engagement and technology deployment at states. Sanjay Vijay Kumar at Corona Safe, they built the platform, the pandemic management platform, and they're running that platform very effectively right now of three peaks of COVID in Ernakulam district. Thank you. And of course, Atul Satija, who runs Give India, which has helped us in fundraising. In fact, a lot of the monies that Vinod funded are going through Give India entity. So, but I would like to take a minute to really talk about Nirman. Nirman has done a fabulous job in this particular last 4 weeks. They have been out there going to the districts, doing the evaluation reports, doing the donor engagements. Gopi has been up every day working with the donors in the United States. Swati has been working with donors in India and all the companies, Hysia and EO and all those companies that came together. Uma has been fantastic. In fact, Uma was COVID positive. Okay, Uma Kesani that you see, she was positive, COVID positive. She goes negative. 2 days later, I see a picture of her driving to Narayanpet, to Medak, to various districts. These truly are our frontline warriors. Okay, they have not stopped at anything. So I really like a round of applause to these warriors of ours. And with that, moving on, we have a bunch of company partners. We have Khosla Labs. We have ETG, Raj Pakala runs, Smart IMS that Nagesh runs, Connex, NovoPay, Hysia itself. All of these entities have put their people to work on our project. So thank you so much. You've given us your people, which is the most important resource. With that, we have gone through the donors. I just wanted to show you that a map of Telangana today looks almost all green. There's only a few yellow patches that we need to cover up quickly with green. But thank you so much, donors. Within a matter of 7 days, we had 28 hospitals covered. I want to thank the donors for coming in with such generous support for our program. Okay, with that, I would like to ask, let me stop share. If I may, I'd like to have Mr. Vinod Khosla address the group. In fact, it was your tweet that sort of started all this. Your desire to help us, help India with the immediate funding of hospitals started this. So, Vinod, over to you.
Thank you, Srikant. It's exciting and very heartening to see the launch of this first 10-bed ICU unit, but also the partnerships that have come together in this very short period of time. So it speaks to the caring all of these partners have shown towards this effort. After the first one, there's 37 more 10-bed ICUs on the way. So that's very much in process. But what's most interesting to me is the effort you put into making sure that these very rural districts work after the equipment is there, after the beds are there. The COVID management platform technology you've created, it should serve us for the third wave of COVID, if it comes, and we hope it doesn't. But what's going to sustain, in my view, long after COVID is gone, is harnessing the power of software and telemedicine, and proving that in even rural districts, we can have the highest quality of care using the latest technology because of expertise brought to the rural districts by telemedicine and software help. So my hope is that as we get going, not only the 38 hospitals that have been highlighted by you in Telangana are installed, but that we can extend it to all 700 districts in the country. And though you're only working in 4 states today, the hope is you can be in all the states over time, and every district in the country, then hopefully beyond that. So I'm very excited to tell you and that I'm happy personally to fund 100 of the districts. And I want to invite other people who are listening and other people who care about rural India to contribute additional districts to this effort so it can become a robust and permanent effort. My real hope is it becomes a permanent model for technology-enabled, high-quality remote healthcare in rural India, in a way that also can be centrally monitored and make sure that things are alive, well, and taken care of. So I hope this does become a model for all rural hospitals through the telemedicine aspects and the software aspects that this program will bring to rural India. So thank you very much, and thanks everybody for all the effort they put in, from all the people who reached out to me, all the people and companies that have partnered with Srikanth and the 10-bed ICU project, and not to leave out all the doctors from all over the world who reached out, try and offer their expertise and help. So very much appreciate all that. So thank you very much, Srikanth.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinod. Thank you so much. And your announcement today to fund 100 more districts across the country is a big shot in the arm for us. Thank you so much. And we need only 6 more such large donors to take care of the rest of the country. And thank you so much for your generous support of this program. Now may I request the Honorable Minister, Shri K.T. Ramarao, to address the gathering. Sir, we'd like your thoughts on how to make our 10-bed ICU project a success and save lives in Telangana. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Srikanth. Thank you to the entire team of 10-bed ICU. I think it's been an extremely, strong collaborative effort to make this happen in such a short span of time. Kudos to the entire team, working from our side here as well. Jayesh Ranjan, Mahesh Bhagwat, Divya Devrajan, Harichandana, and also Bharani, Nagesh, Raj, and to the entire team who's been involved in this. And Srikanth, you've done a very thorough and a comprehensive job of explaining and sort of outlining, what it is all about and how we need to be going about it. But before I talk about the project, before I talk about your efforts into this and how it is going to help Telangana, let me take a minute and sort of highlight what's been going on in India during this second wave. The first thing I'd like to say is, the inadequacies with respect to medical infrastructure have been exposed all over the world. I mean, it's not just India. I think it is every country in the world, every state in the world, has realized how fragile and how inadequate, so to speak, our healthcare preparedness was with respect to a pandemic of this proportion. As Mahesh Bhagwat put it very eloquently, I think it's better to sweat in the peacetime rather than bleed during the war. I think that is very succinctly put, and I completely agree with Mahesh that we ought to be doing more, and I strongly believe that the next decade governments across the world have no choice but to invest significant amounts of time, energies, and resources into building up and beefing up our healthcare infrastructure. But governments alone, of course, can't do everything. And I'm delighted that a lot of corporate partners, a lot of enterprises, a lot of NGOs, a lot of institutions have come forward. I compliment Vinodji. Vinod, we met back in Bay Area a couple of years back. It seems like a few lifetimes back now, but we did meet and we had a fascinating chat back then. I'm delighted. I must compliment you on your generosity, Vinod. You just announced that you would be funding 100 rural hospitals in India. That's really, really praiseworthy and laudable. My compliments to you and Khosla Ventures on this wonderful, wonderful, announcement. I must quickly point out, as a state, Telangana is the youngest state in India. In fact, 7 years ago, on the 2nd of June, 2014, the state was founded. The state was created. Now, just to give you a perspective, prior to the formation of Telangana, while there were 10 districts, which now has been augmented and increased to 33 districts, there was not a single rural district in Telangana. There was not a single area hospital in Telangana which had an ICU facility. I don't know if you can believe it, but the number is unbelievable. Ever since the state has been formed, about 7 years ago, our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, has taken it upon himself to beef up our medical infrastructure. And in the last 7 years in rural districts alone, we've added nearly 1,600 ICU beds as a state, just to give you a sense of what we have done in the last 7 years. Of course, even that continues to remain inadequate with the kind of population we have, with the kind of pandemic we had. Of course, that also was not enough. But I must say that in India, our big cities, our large cities, metros, about a three-tier healthcare system, the primary healthcare, the secondary healthcare, and the tertiary healthcare. What happens essentially is, for lack of better Medicare, for lack of better healthcare facilities in the smaller towns and villages, people gravitate and migrate towards the larger cities. So as a result, a city like Hyderabad today, not only caters to the people of Telangana, we in fact offer support, healthcare support, to about 5 states in India, just to put things in perspective. Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, and Telangana, of course. 5, people of 5 states, adjoining areas, continue to move towards Hyderabad for better healthcare facilities. So as a result, what has happened is our infrastructure, of course, was constrained, but we have done reasonably well, even in the second wave, and we are doing, we are kind of witnessing a plateauing of the curve and a decline in positivity rate. In fact, the recovery rate has exceeded the infection rate, which is a great sign. And the curve is tapering now. And I hope, like Vinod said, that there will not be a third wave, but should there be one, I think we are preparing ourselves adequately now. Just to also give you a sense of what government of Telangana has done for the longer term also. Prior to the formation of the state of Telangana, there were only 4 government colleges, medical colleges, that have been created in our state in the last 65 years. Only 4 medical colleges in the last 65 years. But since the formation of the state of Telangana, we've already added 5 new government medical colleges. And we have recently announced another 7 government medical colleges. The state government and the state cabinet has resolved last week, in fact, to set up another 7 medical colleges. The point I'm trying to make is not only preparing ourselves for the next wave, but I think this pandemic has really shown the mirror to the governments, to the powers to be across the world, on how woefully inadequate we are when it comes to taking care of our healthcare requirements. So not only do we need infrastructure, we also need a strong, robust base of medical personnel. So each of our government medical college in Telangana will also have a government nursing college attached to it. So about 13 government medical colleges and 20 government nursing colleges are in the offing. And I hope that it'll all happen in the next 1 to 1.5 years. And it'll start up and running. It'll be up and running in the next 1 to 1.5 years. So we are not only bracing ourselves and preparing ourselves for the next wave of this pandemic, which again, I hope it won't happen, But nevertheless, for any other eventuality with respect to health, our government is preparing. Like I pointed out, the number of ICU beds has been increased, and with leveraging technology. In fact, I must also quickly point out, I don't know if our collector Vikarabad is online, but I must point out that we are in fact with the World Economic Forum, with the first state in the country, in India that is, to try out delivering medicines using drone technology. We are also going to deliver vaccines to remote areas using drones. So we are trying multiple things, trying to leverage technology as much as we can, as well as we can. But I'm delighted that, we have several technologists on this call right now. I see some of my old friends as well from the US. I see Raju, I see several others. Whatever you can, to help out India in this pandemic is of course laudable. And Shrikant and to the entire team of 10-bed ICU and Nirman and everybody else who's associated, everybody else who's on the call, to the doctors particularly who've come forward. Like you pointed out, Shrikant, Telugu-speaking doctors who are elsewhere, whose heart, irrespective of where they live in the world, whose heart continues to beat for India and continues to beat for their home state. My compliments to all of you on joining the telemedicine idea. But I think there's a lot more that can be done. There's a lot more that can be done. This is just the beginning. Yesterday somebody was telling me that journey of 1,000 miles also began with a single step. I think a journey of 1 million beds also begins with a single big step today from Narayanpet, which is where you're launching your 10-bed ICU facility. My compliments to Collector Narayanpet for making this happen at a breakneck speed. Harichandana Dasari, and to all the collectors, like you pointed out, Shrikant, who worked, and each of them makes for a fascinating story. Somebody was COVID positive, somebody was on maternity leave, somebody else was into something else, but all of them put their collective might, collective thought into this. And I'm delighted that Vinod and our EO here, the Entrepreneurs Organization in Hyderabad, HISEA, the Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association, I must compliment. In fact, yesterday HISEA had set up a 150-bed ICU facility in the government-run institution here, the Telangana Institute of Medical Sciences. I've inaugurated it yesterday. My compliments to Bharani and the entire Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association and everybody else that is a part of this. And like Vinod said, 700 districts in India. And this has to be a comprehensive, driven program. It can't just be driven by a pandemic or a surge that we've seen in second wave, etc. I hope you continue to stay the course, even after COVID wanes away and goes away. I hope you continue to stay the course. I hope you continue to drive with the same passion, motivation, and ensure that the 700 rural districts in India, and this brilliant story, this brilliant idea becomes a huge success. And with someone like Vinod driving it, Vinod, coming in and pitching in 100 hospitals. Shrikant, like you eloquently pointed out, only 6 more donors required, but I think to involve more people would be better. To involve more and more. I think the collaborative, participatory, style, which will help us augment and not just confine ourselves to the current scope of the project, but to augment it, expand it further, and make good use of technology, good use of doctors, good use of medical personnel, and help our people. So it's a brilliant initiative. My compliments. And I'm delighted that Telangana is the first state to have have been rolled out in this project. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we absolutely, your idea of a groundswell of support by many donors is certainly what we are looking at, because that also brings in a certain level of accountability, because we have to show the donors that this is actually working, and of course, eventually we need to save lives. Thanks for listing out all the various initiatives you're bringing in to brace towards a third wave. But sir, one request is we need your active support here in Telangana to make this happen. This is our first state. We need it to be of very high quality and ensure that we take care of the third wave if it shows up, and with the rest of the country. So thank you so much, sir. For
let me just chime in, and I had one more thing. I not only represent Telangana, I have a lot of friends in government in various states across the country. The Chief Minister of Meghalaya is a dear friend. I have ministers who are friends across the country. And I'm sure Mahesh Bhagwat has many friends in bureaucracy across the country as well, and so does Jayesh Ranjan. So we will not only be your point of contact and the nodal agency as far as Telangana is concerned. If you're not receiving support elsewhere in India, we'll be more than happy to, connect through our 2 degrees of separation or 3 degrees of separation and make things happen. So please look at this as your foot in the door in India, not only through Telangana. So more than happy to collaborate, more than happy to assist the ICU 10-bed project across 700 districts. So we will move whatever is required to move. We will make whatever it is required, to kind of reach out to the right kind of people and associate with them. I promise you that I'll put in all my efforts and all my energies to make this a big success all over the country, not just for Telangana.
Thank you so much, sir. That's a very auspicious start for us. So, we would have loved to have you physically in Narayanpet, and unfortunately we can't because of the circumstances. So if I may, I am going to ask you to launch our project virtually. If by clicking the launch button, can you see the launch button?
Shrikant, I think we'll let Vinod do the honors because he's just announced, 100 hospital, support for 100 hospitals. It's only right for Vinod to launch it. Vinod, please, since it's virtual, I'm sure it's easy to do. So I think let Vinod do the honors, please.
Okay.
I'm happy to do it.
Thank you, Vinod. That was we now switch over to Narayanpet. We want to take you live over to Narayanpet. We have our collector there. We have Mayur of Nirman to show us the 10-bed ICU there. Over to you, Harichandran.
Thank you. Firstly, good morning, everyone. I would like to express a heartfelt thanks from Narayanpet district to Shri KTR Garu. Sir has been very, very supportive of all our initiatives, and he's been taking a very special interest in promoting backward areas and distant districts. So thank you very much, sir, for supporting this initiative and encouraging this 10-bed ICU in our district. This is the first time Narayanpet district itself, including private hospitals, we're going to have an ICU. So it's going to go a long way in providing the much needed medical care in this district. So thank you very much. And special thanks to Shri Vinod Khosla ji for coming forward and sponsoring this initiative and starting this drive from our district. This goes a long way in reinforcing the public-private partnerships that we have going, and reinforces the belief that we have that we all can deliver and do things. Special thanks to Shrikant Garu, Raj Garu, Nagesh Garu, and the entire Nirman team, who's been very, very efficient in setting it up in a record time. We just could set it up in 20 days in Narayanpet. So we're much thankful to you, and special thanks to all the district medical team, including our district superintendent, who has been very efficient in setting this up. So thank you very much, sir, for giving us this ICU, and I hope this goes a long way in providing medical care here. So we'll just go through the ICU setup.
Please.
Shrikant, is it our turn here?
Yes, we can hear you, Mayur. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, distinguished chief guests of today, Honorable Minister KTR sir, and also distinguished chief guest Vinod Khosla sir, thank you so much. We are Team Nirman. My name is Mayur Patnala, currently serving as founder and CEO of Nirman organization. We are part of the NGO Partners Coalition that has been built for this 10-bed ICU program. And here we are at ground zero. We are at the place where this idea originally started with Dr. Harichandran ma'am, who is the district collector of this district. We are at acute medical care unit, the block that at district Narayanpet district. So we are from here we are building out the rural national mission of contributing to defining the future healthcare model for the rural areas. That's where we envision this to be. And here we are today. Of course, yesterday there was a conversation that was going on. Are we inaugurating a 10-bed ICU in one district? No, we are putting the stone inaugurated for all the districts of inter India. So let's Also have under the able leadership of Dr. Harichandana ma'am, we have Dr. Mallikarjun Garu, who is the superintendent of this hospital. He has been super kind enough and supported all the way. And we also have our field team, Uma Klesani, who is the chief operating officer for the organization. And thanks to our governing board directors and advisory board members who are here at Nirman, who is making this happen. Now this is the final moment. I would like to show you all. This is our beautiful small plaque that we have built in. Let me read it out for all of you. It is Government of Telangana, 10-bed ICU, Naranpet District Hospital donor, Vinod Khosla sir, Menlo Park, California. This ICU is getting opened in 5th June 2021 with Nirman, Ego Foundation, Karuna Trust, Corona Safe, and 10bedICU.org. Shrikant, may I cross-check if my voice is clear, if I have to slow down,
Yes,
or
yes.
is it okay?
Mayur, you're sounding good. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll enter into, we'll have in the visual from now, I'll be Dr. Mallikarjun Garu and also Uma with us, and we will take you to the 10-bed ICU setup. We thank HICIA for introducing us to the 10-bed ICU program. Now we are at ICU. We'll stay calm. There are few patients who are getting recovered, so I'll be doing it in a lower note. If I am not audible anytime, please let me know. So,
You're doing fine.
Okay, thank you. So first, this ICU equipment, while it is completely operationalized by the district collector and the district medical superintendent, Dr. Mallikarjun Garu, we would like to take you through the 9 items which we are giving as a part of the center program. Firstly, these are Fowler beds, high quality Fowler beds. The manual operated. Tirupati is just showing us how it's manual operated so that it's adaptable back section to offer a relaxed position to the knees of the patients. And it is manual operated crank systems that are available. We are giving 12 such units. And secondly, we have ventilators, 2 ventilators in number. These ventilators are specially non-invasive and invasive, and also they have adult capability and pediatric capability as well. So this is for the future use. Yesterday, KTR sir was mentioning in our launch, especially focusing on the pediatric. And then let's move to suction apparatus. Dr. Mallikarjun Garu is showing from there itself. So let's look at the suction apparatus. This suction apparatus is very important part of the ICU, wherein if any substances get stuck in blood, saliva, in the airway, then this portable suction unit will be able to take them out. It has the bacteria filters, collection canisters, etc. And then let us move on to, we are giving suction apparatus 5 in number for each 10-bed ICU. Let's move on to this multi-channel parameters, monitors. Very important to provide the care, critical care, wherein the nurse and doctors can immediately come here and see. We have heart rate, central venous pressure, SpO2, everything measured, so that immediately the nurses can immediately identify where the critical care is necessary. Let's move on. We have infusion pumps, 2 in number that are given. This one, let's not disturb her. This one, okay. These infusion pumps are very important, especially to give life-saving drugs in a very small quantities in a titrated manner. These infusion pumps become very important. That's what our Dr. Mallikarjun Garu says. And then we also have this medical trolley. This is very important. Here we have medicines, drugs, medical supplies, and also the consumables that are kept. In emergency care, we can just move this trolley to the patients and make it happen. And last 2 ones, that is oxygen concentrators for people who need oxygen concentrators with low flow oxygen necessity. We have this incorporated 2 oxygen concentrators in this 40,000 USD that we planned for. We are thankful to Dr. Mallikarjun sir and of course the able leadership of Dr. Harichandana ma'am. We would like to show you this hospital has ensured that there is adequate oxygen supply. Thank you so much, Harichandana ma'am, for giving this idea, and we are building this idea out from here to enter India. Here we have 25 oxygen D-type cylinders that have been given for this. So this overall, once again, I would like to show you our beloved plaque. So this is a real example that we are trying to set with Honorable KTR sir and Vinod Khosla ji, who are there in this, wherein every donor will have this plaque for a lifetime on this for EICU. And thank you so much. We would like to set a real example for public-private partnership model. With this, I thank you once again.
Great. Hey, thank you, Mayur. Wonderful, wonderful. As he showed the plaque, all the donors, you will have a plaque of your own in the 10-bed ICUs in remembrance of your generosity. Thank you so much. And
we would like to do a small Chak Day, as always with Nirman, with our Nirman Board of Directors. Thank you. 3, 2, 1, Chak Day!
All right, Chak Day. So thank you so much, Mayur and entire team. You guys have been the frontline warriors for us, doing the work out there on the field while we've been coordinating from our offices and homes and so on. Thank you so much. To end the program, last but not least, Nagesh, can I ask you to give a vote of thanks for everybody who has contributed to our project?
Thanks a lot, Srikanth. Thank you. Hello, everyone. A very good morning to you all. I'm honored and humbled to be part of this great cause. Srikanth, learned a lot from you. Thank you for everything. In fact, the way we built everything in a short notice is thank you. It's all about your leadership. Firstly, I would like to thank our honorable chief guest, Sri KTR Garu, Sri Vinod Khosla Garu, for gracing the occasion despite of their busy schedules. Thank you, sir. We are really honored to have you here. KTR Garu, thank you very much for your time, for gracing this occasion. Vinodji, thank you very much. Your generosity really helps us to take it to many states and many more rural places. Thank you very much for everything. Chandra Garu, thank you very much, and it's your idea which we took it forward. Thank you very much. I'm glad you came up with the idea, and the whole discussion took out in a different direction. But thank you very much for your idea. Thank you, Jayesh Garu, Mahesh Garu, Divya Devarajan Garu, Harichandana Garu for supporting us on this initiative from beginning and making it successful. I would like to extend our gratitude for the immense support and encouragement we received from the district collectors, district health and medical officers, and the hospital superintendents. We would like to specially thank Nirman team for their efforts and commitment. Mayur, you built one of the best teams who are available round the clock, on the ground, for the procurement, for the need assessment, to make sure everything is delivered on time. And we are very happy that we are associated and working together, Nirman, Mayur, and looking forward to do many more projects together. We would like to extend our gratitude to all the donors, Khosla Foundation, HICIA, Give India, and all the partners. Thank you so much for donating and helping for the great cause. Your generosity is unparalleled. And Srikanth, Raj, I'm so glad we came together to work on this initiative. It all started just 5 weeks back, and I'm glad we could come to this level. Looking forward to working on extending it to many hospitals across India in the near future. Thanks to Vinod Khosla ji, I'm sure another 100 districts. So we will be focusing more on the Northeast and all the other North India districts in the future. Thank you everyone for taking the time to attend this event today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So lastly, I'd just say, Vinod, your 100 new districts, there's a shot in the arm for us. We're going to move there with missionary zeal. And let me say, KTR Garu, we will take you up on your offer. We will work very closely with you. We need your full support to take this across the country. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful presentation, Mayur from Narayanpet ICU 10-bed ICU unit. Congratulations.
Thank you, Vahid sir.
Congratulations on this occasion, and really big thank you to Vinod Khosla ji and all others who are involved in developing this concept.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Vahid sir is our mission director. Thank you so much.
Excellent work done, even though you were positive, Uma. Wonderful. Well done, you know. Well done.
Well, amazing work. Congratulations, the whole
I have no
team.
words. I am short of words now.
Sanjarani ma'am, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks to Dr. Garu and Uma, Mayur, whole lot of you who've been working 24/7 perhaps on this. Amazing. What a wonderful, elegant event you've all organized. And more than that, the hours of days of sweat and anxiety and really enthusiasm and passion to see this project through. Fantastic work. I really appreciate the support of Narayanpet doctor from the hospital and his whole team to make this possible. And it is really a path breaker, and it's going to show the way for all other 29 hospitals and probably for the rest of the country. Amazing. And please do convey my appreciation to the district collector. I'm really impressed with the young collector. Great job. Thank you.
Dr. Harichandana ma'am is listening to you, ma'am.
Oh, she's okay.
Thank you
Amazing,
so much.
Harichandana, great work, and what leadership you have shown. Mayur told so many great things about you. Wishing you a wonderful career ahead, but more important, lead your district into really becoming corona safe and also building its health systems in a very strong manner. All the very best to you.
Yeah, my compliments and appreciation for Mrs. Harichandana's efforts in making it a reality. It becomes, Narayanpet becomes the first ever district to have a ultra-modern ICU, 10-bedded ICU unit. My compliments and wonderful leadership shown by Mrs. Harichandana. Thank you very much. And Mayur, this is going to be the first ever initiative and going to expand over 700 districts of India. That is what is more encouraging. The outcome of your efforts, you have sown the seed, and it's going to become a massive and a very big program. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We definitely thank you for your leadership on the board leadership of Nirman board for encouraging us and giving us the strategy and direction.
Yeah.
Thank you, one and all.
That's the easiest thing to do, Mayur. You're doing all the running and great work out there. So,
thank you.
Great.
I wish I would have been a part of this field work, going to various districts, but then I had my own, COVID problems. Yeah, I wish I would have been with you all, going to various districts, especially those in the interior forested areas.
No, you're providing the leadership from back, Vahid Garu. So this is the time you must rest and provide the leadership. And really, Swati.